All right, tonight is night 2 of the 2025 NBA playoffs, and in this video I want to discuss my predictions for the second round. But first I want to cover the 2 series that went to Game 7. We have the Warriors and the Rockets, which the Warriors won Game 7 on the road, and then we also have the Clippers and the Nuggets, with the Nuggets winning at home. Now, I believe I said in my last video that I thought the Clippers had a better team, but when you ask James Harden to play well in clutch moments, turns out he chokes. So, turns out the veterans of the Nuggets are better than the veterans of the Clippers. Unfortunately, that's just how it goes. It was really cool to see the Intuit Dome make the playoffs in its first season, but unfortunately for the Clippers, fortunately for the Nuggets won that series and will be moving on to play the Thunder. Also, the Warriors and the Rockets. Now, I said in the previous video that I thought the Rockets were the better team. Once again, I was misled by the Warriors veterans. I thought that the Rockets were the better team. They had younger players, they had more energy, they clearly looked like the team that was better in Game 6, and I think the Warriors took that to heart. According to Steve Kerr, which I have a clip I'll play here in a second, Draymond Green spoke up at the team meeting saying that it was my bad, I got the technical foul, I let myself loose a little bit, time for me to step up and play better in Game 7, and we're all going to play better in Game 7, and evidently that's all it took. So before I move further, let's see that clip from Steve Kerr speaking about Draymond Green's team meeting, and then we'll play his clip talking about Game 6.
Game 7 together. What can you say about the tone that Draymond set on Şengün and obviously the way that Steph was able to close it out?
Draymond set the tone last night at the team meeting. Basically, he owned up to losing his poise in Game 6. And I agreed with him. You know, I thought the flagrant foul 4 minutes into the game was a tone setter, and he knew it. And so he talked to the group last night and said, I got to be poised and I have to be better, and we're going to come in here tomorrow and get it done. And I think his emotional stability tonight, just his poise from the start, I thought it set a great tone.
Okay, so obviously Draymond Green took it upon himself to push the team to the next level. He succeeded. He played very well defensively. Steph Curry made a lot of shots, and I think that was really what misled me about the Warriors, is that I thought in Game 6 the Rockets clearly looked like the better team. They had more energy. Their stars were younger. It just felt like they were the ones who were going to put themselves over the hump in a Game 7. But in the playoffs, in clutch moments, like a Game 7, I guess you're better off favoring veterans over inexperienced guys. And the Rockets, this is their first time in the playoffs since I can't think of how long it's been. So I think it was my mistake. I should have favored the veteran play, and I think all it took was Steph Curry making shots, Draymond playing good defense, and that put them over the edge. Now they've got to play that way in this next series as well, because they're coming off of a series they played to 7 games, because they're playing a team in the Minnesota Timberwolves who last year made an appearance in the Western Conference Finals, and this year are looking to build off of that. I think for them it's finals or bust, and they've got great stars in Ant and Rudy Gobert especially, and I think although Draymond's beat up on Rudy Gobert in the past rather violently, that I think it's still going to be a great series, but I still feel like because of the athleticism, the youth, the agility of Ant Edwards is going to dominate this team, and really, unless Steph Curry plays absolutely lights out, I just feel like the Minnesota Timberwolves have this series. But let's see what Steve Kerr's takeaway was on Game 6.
Understood after Game 6. We were scattered. We were out of sorts. I didn't do a good job getting them ready. I think we let our guard down, frankly, in Game 6. And so tonight was as good as it gets in terms of focus and the players executing the game plan and just showing resolve for 48 minutes.
Okay, so clearly Steve Kerr was much happier with their play in Game 7 compared to Game 6. I think they played a lot better. Unfortunately, I was wrong. Like I said, veterans favor veterans, and clutch moments like that, just the way it is. Now, like I said, they're playing the Timberwolves, a much younger team, but also I feel like is a better team. I feel like they play more cohesively. They're more consistent, even though they are younger. And I just feel like the Warriors are going to be worn out after playing a 7-game series with minimal time off. Like I think they get 1 day off. That's it. Basically they're traveling. They get a travel day. That's their day off. It's going to be one series to the next for them. And the same is going to be true for the Nuggets and Thunder. I thought Kawhi was the best player in the series. I thought James Harden was playing really well. I thought Norman Powell came out of nowhere to really take the game, Game 6 by storm. And I thought that the Clippers were going to be able to build off of that going into Game 7. But once again, I was wrong. And clutch moments in the playoffs pick the stronger veterans. And when you ask James Harden to play well, unfortunately, he just chokes. He chokes. Kawhi chokes. They're all chokers. Man, you just get how many games per year out of Kawhi? And, you thought that if you had Kawhi, who when the Clippers brought him in, thought he was the best player in the league, and he can play like the best player in the league. But man, when you get the best out of Kawhi, you think you're going to make a deep playoff run, when really what you get is you're out in 7 games in the first round. So that was incredibly disappointing for them. But the same story for the Warriors is going to be the same for the Nuggets. 7-game series, although Jamal Murray came out of nowhere to dominate Game 7. Nikola Jokic was able to win that matchup early over Zubac. I still think the Thunder have the edge in this series. They're much younger. They're coming off a lot of rest. Now, the Thunder, because there's this whole theory about when you get time off, there's a little bit of rust involved. The Nuggets may be able to build off some momentum and steal Game 1. That is very possible. So that may happen. But I think Shea, Chet, I guess Harstein's on that team, but I wouldn't say he's a leader. But anyway, the 2 main stars in the Thunder are going to play very well in these matchups. I think even though Nikola Jokic is much bigger, I think if Chet can keep the ball moving and can be able to win that matchup early over Jokic, he can get in his head a little bit, and he's going to be able to get inside and outside and have strong rebound numbers, be able to pass the ball inside out to the shooters. He's going to be able to get shots open for himself at the 3-point line. Because I don't know that if the Nuggets are worn out, how much are they going to be able to play some of their other players? And because of Chet's ability to play at the 3-point line, I think the Nuggets, who are going to be tired and worn out, just aren't going to be able to play this inside-out game that Chet enables the Thunder to play. So I think the Nuggets might steal Game 1, but overall, I think it's Thunder in 6. That will be my official prediction. Timberwolves and Warriors, gentleman's sweep. That's what I'm going to think. That's going to be my prediction. So let's move over to the East, because there hasn't been a lot of conversation over here, mainly because these series have been over for a little bit longer. There's been no Game 7s. Starting off with Boston and the Knicks. I think Boston's the best team in the playoffs. I don't think anybody's going to put up a fight against them, at least not until the next round at least. And I think the Knicks played the Celtics 4 times this year and lost all 4 times. But the Knicks can be a scrappy team. Jalen Brunson can get going. OG Anunoby he can move the ball up and down the floor. But I think while the veterans of the Celtics aren't flashy, the Celtics are the better team. Gentleman sweep, 4-1. Now the Pacers and Cavaliers, I'm going to admit I am heavily biased. Pacers are my team. And so rather than sitting here and pretending that I don't have bias, pretending that I can put on a level head and give you a fair prediction for this series, I'm just going to be honest that anytime the Pacers are against anybody, the Pacers are going to win. That's going to be my prediction. That and the Pacers just don't get talked about at all. They're very underrated. And I think there was a commentator, and I'm curious if you can guess who it is. There was a commentator who today said that the reason the Pacers are so discounted is because the Pacers are part of this new era of the NBA, where it's not about how good your stars are, but it's about how strong your weakest link is. And I believe what he meant by that is that when you get to this point in the NBA season, all the teams are good. All the teams have stars. All the teams have great rosters. Like, you wouldn't be at this point unless you were a good overall team. So it really comes down to, there's enough assistant coaches out there. Is there a weakness in your team? Is there a weak link that can be schemed to attack, to take advantage of? And the Pacers do such a good job of maybe not necessarily attacking their team's weaknesses. They're not the greatest defensive team, but they play so well together. Their bench is so strong. They play 10 players a game. They have so much depth that they don't have a weak link. Yeah, they may not have the stars that shine the brightest in the league, but you're not going to find a weakness against them to take advantage of. They can play fastball. They can play hustle ball. They can cherry pick. Clearly, stars are not enough to overcome this team, as seen by the Bucks series. I mean, they beat the Bucks 4-1, and they've arguably one of the best players in the league. I think the Pacers were right to have stolen Game 1. I can't remember who was out. Was it the point guard? I believe the point guard of the Cavaliers was out. But even still, I just think the Pacers have so much depth, and the Cavaliers had so much time off. I guess it was only one more day than the Pacers, but to me, the Pacers are the better team because they're not so star reliant. Now, the Cavaliers have, they have Allen, they have DeAndre Mitchell, they have their point guard. They have some really good players, but I just don't think their depth matches up well against the Pacers. And actually, 2 of the games were sort of like throwaway games at the end of the year, but I believe the Pacers won the season series like 3-1 or 4-1 or something like that, and the Cavaliers finished with 62 wins. So like 25% or so of all the Cavaliers' losses this year were to the Pacers, which is a crazy stat. And to be honest, the Pacers went to the Eastern Conference Finals last year, and I think they're going to repeat. I think Pacers in 6 or Pacers in 7. That's going to be my prediction. And then obviously that'll bring us to the Western Conference and Eastern Conference finals, but we're going to save those predictions for when we get there. But you have my predictions as I just laid them out for the NBA playoffs 2025 second round. Let me see if I can repeat it. I'll do Thunder in 6, Timberwolves, gentlemen sweep, Celtics Knicks, Celtics and gentlemen sweep, and then Pacers over the Cavaliers in about 6 or 7 games. Let me have a 6-lane highway on that response. It's going to be 6 or 7. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. We'll see how these games play out. Tonight it's Knicks and Celtics, and I think it's also Thunder and Nuggets. I think those are the 2 games tonight. Yep, May 5th. Okay, awesome. Let's see how these games go, and we'll catch you in the next video. Thanks for watching.